Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we will be discussing from the 14th verse of the 8th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Antastha sarva bhutanam atma yogeshwaro harihi swamayaya avrunod garbham vairatya kurutantave. The meaning of this verse is, the Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Yogeshwaro Harihi, Sri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. So what all Sri Krishna is doing, for the sake of his devotees, he is prepared to do anything and everything to protect them. So therefore, Shastras say, always depend on the Supreme Lord and nobody else. Even Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita, you surrender to me alone, exclusively. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Take my shelter exclusively, because only Krishna is dependable for everyone. For everyone. And nobody is his enemy. Nobody is his friend. He is the well-wisher of everyone. Suhridam sarva bhutana. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, the Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Yogeshwaro Harihi, can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atoms by his Paramatma feature, his plenary portion. This Paramatma feature is a very special feature of the Supreme Lord in the material world only. Paramatma feature is the expansion of the Lord who has entered into the heart of every living being within this material existence, and also entered into every material atom. So, this Paramatma feature is a very, very, very special feature. Now, it is mentioned here that Krishna is present as Paramatma in the heart of everyone. So, therefore, it is said here, from within the body of Uttara, the mother of Parikshit, and Uttara had prayed to Krishna, please protect the child in my womb. So, from within the body of Uttara, Lord Krishna covered the embryo to save Maharaj Parikshit and protect the progeny of Maharaj Kuru, of whom King Pandu was also a descendant. Kurutantave, for the progeny of Maharaj Kuru. Parikshit is described as a progeny of Maharaj Kuru, because this Parikshit was the only surviving descendant of the Pandavas and even the only surviving descendant of the Kuru dynasty, because all others were vanquished in the battle. All the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra were killed in the battle. So there was no, and their children and the grandsons of Dhritarashtra, all of them were killed. So therefore, to save the only remaining descendant of the Kuru dynasty, the Supreme Lord from within the body of Uttara covered the embryo. Now, in doing so, he engaged his personal energy. His personal energy is his internal potency, non-different from him, and that internal potency is supremely powerful, as powerful as Krishna himself. So nobody can do any harm when the Supreme Lord, by his personal energy, covers or protects somebody. Both the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu belong to the same dynasty of Maharaj Kuru, because they were born in the Kuru dynasty, Dhritarashtra and Pandu. But even though both belong to the Kuru dynasty, if they both belong to Kuru dynasty, they should be called as the descendant of the Kurus, or they should be called the present generation of Kurus, of the Kuru dynasty. But when there were some differences between the two families, the sons of Dhritarashtra were known as Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandu were known as Pandavas. See, this was particularly Dhritarashtra making a distinction. It's explained in the first opening verse of the Bhagavad Gita itself, in the first chapter, first verse. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. Dhritarashtra is making a distinction between his own sons, and they are referred to as Kauravas, descendants of Kuru dynasty. But the Pandavas, they are also descendants, but they are not identified as descendants. They are separated from the family lineage. And this is always was Dhritarashtra's plan. Some or the other, he could not become the emperor because he was born blind. So he wanted his sons to succeed in becoming the emperors of the world. But Krishna had a different plan. Krishna wants his devotees to be ruling the world. Only then people will get real benefit of a Krishna conscious ruler like Yudhishthira or Parikshit. Since the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were all killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, the last son of the dynasty is designated as the son of the Kurus. Even though Parikshit is a grandson of the Pandavas, and when the battle was going on, the Pandavas were identified as Pandavas, and the Kauravas the sons of Dhritarashtra were identified as Kauravas. The sons of Pandu were identified as Pandavas. So both are actually descendants of the Kuru dynasty. But now the last son of the dynasties, that is Parikshit, is designated as the son of the Kurus, Kurutantave, for the progeny of Maharaj Kuru, because all these sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were killed in the battle. The 15th verse, Yadyapi astram brahmashiraha tu amogham cha apratikriyam vaishnavam teja asadya samashamyad brugudvaha. The meaning of this verse is, O Shaunaka, although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwatthama was irresistible and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So, several times this has been explained that the Brahmastra weapon is irresistible. Nobody can counteract a Brahmastra weapon except by another Brahmastra. Except by another Brahmastra. And that also by one who is trained how to utilize the Brahmastra and how to counteract another Brahmastra. They should learn that specifically. Otherwise, it is irresistible and it is without any check or counteraction. But when this Brahmastra, which is very, very, very powerful, a weapon, a subtle weapon, it was neutralized and foiled by the strength of Vishnu. The Supreme Lord, Krishna, personally covered the womb of Uttara and neutralized this Brahmastra. So it could not do any harm to the child Parikshit in the womb of Uttara, even though the target was fixed when Ashwathama released. So in spite of the target being fixed and the Brahmastra being irresistible, it was neutralized and foiled by the strength of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So the strength of the Supreme Lord is supreme strength, and no weapon or no other force can actually work against the protection of Vishnu or Krishna. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that the Brahma Jyoti or the glowing transcendental effulgence is resting on Lord Sri Krishna. This is explained in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the 27th verse. Brahmano hi pratishta aham. Krishna says, I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman. Brahma Jyoti, that is the effulgence emanating from the transcendental body of Krishna, and it covers the entire spiritual sky. It is the transcendental energy of the Supreme Lord, and that Brahma Jyoti is the source of the entire material creation. Actually, it is sourced from Krishna, but through the Brahma Jyoti. Through the Brahma Jyoti. In other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas is nothing but the rays of the Lord. Just as the sun rays are rays of the sun disk. So this Brahma Tejas, which is described here, Yadyapi astram Brahma Shiraha tu amogham cha apratikriyam Vaishnavam Teja Asadya. Vaishnavam means in relation to Vishnu. This Brahmastra actually materially irresistible, but it cannot surpass the supreme strength of Vishnu or Krishna. The weapon called Brahmastra released by Ashwathama was neutralized and foiled by Sri Krishna by his own energy. That is to say, he did not wait for any other's help because he is absolute. See, this distinction we should always note between the Supreme Lord and anyone else. Everyone else is dependent on Krishna. But Krishna is not dependent on anyone else. Krishna is always independent because Krishna is absolute. This distinction eternally exists between the Supreme Lord Krishna and everyone else in the entire creation, even in the spiritual world also. Nobody is equal to Krishna, nobody is greater than Krishna. Asamordhva. So this is an eternal fact. In fact, those who do not know about the personal feature of the absolute truth, they wrongly think that the impersonal feature, the Brahma Jyoti or the Brahman feature of the absolute truth, is the same as the identity of the living being, the tiny living being, Anu Atma. That's what they think, which is completely wrong. The Anu Atma is a tiny particle, a portion of the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord is always supremely powerful, unlimitedly powerful, the source of everyone and everything, and his energy can never be equal with anything else. So that is being explained here. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.